What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Jessie, also known as Miss Cherry, and today I have a very chit-chatty New Year's video. You know, when I'm sitting on the floor looking very comfortable with a drink, that means that we have a lot to chat about. So I hope that you can grab a drink and grab a snack because whew, we've got a year to review and it was an interesting one. It was an interesting one. 2022, and I know that a lot of you can relate to this. 2022 was one of the hardest years I've ever had. I know that so many of you who have followed or have been a part of my Instagram page, we have all kind of shared, or a lot of us have shared in, you know, some of the challenges that happened during this year. And I thought not only would it be like cathartic to sit down and chat with you about it, but I also thought that it may be something that you can relate to and something that we can discuss, some of the bad times and some of the good times and some of the things that we have to look forward to in 2023. So I figured what we could do for this video is let's chat about the craziness that happened in 2022. Then we can talk about the amazing things that happened during this last year. And then I have a ton of really fun things planned for 2023, knock on wood, because we know that the plans that I made in 2022 did not happen. Most of them were canceled. Most of them were canceled last minute. Some of them, anyway, we'll get to that. But hopefully exciting things happening in 2023. And then, of course, channel updates and what you can kind of expect from this channel moving forward in 2023. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I get into anything for 2022, I just want to put a blanket trigger warning just in general. If you don't want to hear about anything that was challenging or anything, you can move on. I'm gonna put chapters here for you. I'm not offended at all. I understand. I think that if I was in the place where I was at this time last year or mid-year, I don't think I could have handled watching it. So please do not feel the obligation to whatsoever. I totally understand and I'm not offended whatsoever. But there are some things that we are gonna talk about that are gonna be a challenge. So let's talk about how I got my butt kicked in 2022, and then let's talk about the good things. So first of all, right out of the gate, one of my really, really close friends, he's in his early 40s, fell very, very ill in January and February timeframe. So ill that we were unsure if he was going to make it. I also work with him, and so it was just a really, really intense time. Also, his wife was 9 months pregnant at that time too. And so not only were we trying to like welcome a beautiful child into this world as like a friends group, but we were also very concerned that we might be losing someone from our friends group. And we're test after test month. I mean, this like lasted, his health problems lasted for a good 6 months out of the year. Procedure after procedure, misdiagnoses after misdiagnoses. So that just felt very, very heavy for us in his friends group. And us at work too. You know, we also care about each other at work too. So that was kind of a bit of a lot to start the year with. Luckily, he's okay. It took a very long time to really understand if he was going to be and understand what was actually happening with him, which was very scary, but he is okay. Thank God. Thank God he's okay. He also welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the world. Him and his wife did. So overall, in general, I'm so thankful that he's okay, but it started the year kind of hard. So mid-year, as some of you may know, if you follow over on Instagram, my grandfather passed away, and he was my closest grandparent to me, and he was like, we were kindred spirits, and I'm just so thankful for the amount of time that I had with him. He was 88 when he passed. Just such a constant in my life and such a support in my life, and he is greatly missed. This video is going really well. But yeah, he was the first person to take me to Disneyland and the first person to take me to Walt Disney World. So then I got to dance with him at my wedding, and Most importantly, I got to say goodbye. And so I have so much to be thankful for when it comes to the situation with him, like so much. So I'm not gonna dwell on it, but it doesn't make it that much easier, you know? It just still is hard for me to talk about. Oh my gosh, and then Hurricane Ian. Hurricane Ian came. Okay, so Hurricane Ian came and so much happened with that. So my friend Alex, a Disney Nerdy Canadian, and I were supposed to go to Disney World, and we had all these plans. And then right after Disney World, I was going to go to my grandfather's celebration of life. They live in northern Florida, and so I was going to drive up to Pensacola where they're at. And so Hurricane Ian had different plans. And so what happened was I had to cancel that trip last minute, and then my grandfather's celebration of life had to be rescheduled right away, and it happened to be rescheduled for the same weekend as the Wine and Dine Half Marathon, which was a big goal of mine to complete last year, which obviously didn't happen because I wouldn't miss the celebration of him for the world. He deserved to be celebrated. So that happened. And then you'll probably remember I did go to Disneyland. I went to Disneyland in October, and the day that I got back, Telly, my sweet 16-year-old cat, fell very ill. Don't worry, she's right next to me. She's okay. But she had to be rushed immediately when I got home to the vet. We actually didn't think she was gonna make it. She was very ill. Come to find out, she had some sort of infection. We think it might have been like a kidney infection. And then we also found out that she is diabetic. So I took almost a week off of work to care for her. She was so badly dehydrated at one point, right when I got home, that I actually had to hand feed her for a full 2 days after I got back, because she just didn't have the strength to be able to do what she needed to do as a cat, which was really overwhelming. And I mean, come here. I definitely am so thankful. Here she is, she chunky girl now. Hi, baby. I definitely am so thankful that I get more time with her. If you guys have been with the channel for a while, you may remember my cat Julian, her brother, her litter mate, they aren't actual blood related, had diabetes. So we are kind of used to caring for a cat that has it. And so it was just kind of like a normal routine for us to fall into with her. She's doing so well, but I'm telling you, when I spiraled, I think that everything in accumulation and then her getting sick too, it was just too much for me to handle. It was just too much for me to handle. So it was pretty dicey there for a couple weeks, but she's okay. She got down to, she usually is anywhere from 12 to 13 pounds. She got down to right at 10 pounds, which for a cat, I mean, losing a couple pounds is pretty major. Now she's at 14. Which we're happy about, right, T? Yeah, we're happy about it. So anyway, she's doing okay. But that happened right before I went to Disney World in December. My right-hand person at work suddenly quit. They have been with our company for a very long time, almost 9 years, and gave 4 days notice. And that was about 3 days before I left on my trip. So, needless to say, I had to work through my entire vacation. So, honestly, I am so thankful that this year is over. Honestly, would not wish this year, the last year, upon anyone, like at all. And I want to be very clear. I know that the experiences that I've gone through are much less severe than others have, and I understand and know that. So just be aware that I'm aware of that, and I know that it could be so much worse. And so I don't want you guys to think that I'm like over dramatizing it or what have you. It's just every person has a different experience, and you may have had a very similar experience to what I did in 2022, or maybe even worse, which I really hope that that's not, I really truly hope that that's not the case. I hope that you had a very prosperous and good year last year. But when it comes to these sorts of things where we like just put it out into the universe of like what had happened, what it was like, how frustrating this last year was. I think it's really good to talk about the good things that have happened. And so I think it's time to go through the highlights of 2022, all the good things that happened in 2022. Let's talk about that. Okay, so finally, let's talk about some good things. Let's talk about some good things. So we started out the year right at the very end of January. My husband and my best friend, Jackie, you've probably seen her on the channel before. We all took a long weekend and went to Chena Hot Springs, north of Fairbanks, and we had such a great time. We rode snowmobiles, we went and got into the hot springs, and we had the best time. It was such a random experience. Normally I wouldn't travel within Alaska in general, but we were like, you know what, why not? Why not go on a winter adventure? And so we did, and it was so much fun. Jessi's mom and her friend came up for several weeks in the springtime, which was really fun. She usually comes up in the summer, and so it was kind of nice for her to come up during the springtime and experience kind of what Alaskans call breakup season, which is where the ice and snow kind of breaks up and melts. So that was really entertaining to see her and Kelsey's response to what it was like during that time, because we call it breakup season, and it is the ugliest time of year in Alaska. And so we never really encourage people to come and visit us during that time. And so it was really interesting to see kind of what they thought of it during that time. They didn't love it. We'll just say that. They loved visiting with us, but I don't think they loved the experience of the slush and the snow and the nastiness. It's gross. It's a gross time of year. April, I finally got to go back to Disneyland after the pandemic, which was really exciting. It had been almost 3 years since we had been back. My husband and I stayed at the Grand Californian, which was an absolute dream. It was so fun. I've always wanted to stay there. We also were there when Character Hugs came back. My favorite. It was so fun. I purposefully booked Goofy's kitchen that morning because Goofy, I wanted him to be my very first hug back. That was my #1 goal, and it came to fruition, which was amazing. Also, during that trip in April, we had the absolute honor of being hosted by a theme park for the first time, which was so much fun. We were hosted by Knott's Berry Farm, so if you're interested in seeing that video, I'll link it above and down below for you. I had a blast there. It was so beautiful. It was the Boysenberry Festival at that time, and I had really never experienced Knott's in recent years. The last time I went there was 2013, and it was only for a half day, and I didn't remember a whole lot of it, and so it was so fun to experience. And oh my gosh, you guys, the food there is insane. It's so good, and they have humongous portions. So anyway, I loved experiencing that. It was a great time, and I really hope to work with Knott's Berry Farm again in the future. The springtime, I also got to meet the Alaska Disney girls, which was so cool. It's so neat to have local friends who also have similar interests than I do. I've never met anyone here who has the same interests. Everyone is always so outdoorsy and so hiking, riding four-wheelers, doing Alaska things, hunting, blah, 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 etc. And here I am, like in my house, in my craft room, watching Love Island, doing Disney things, going to Disney all the time, and it was just really difficult for me to relate to people. And so being able to make the friendships with these girls, Jen, Lynn, Alyssa, and also Sierra, has been really amazing, and I've been really thankful for that. We have such a great time doing all of the fun Disney activities that we choose. We just kind of make up fun Disney activities to do, which is still so fun. Also, I've become super close with my friend Lindsay. She's been on the channel before. She actually was on the channel many years ago, and we've just recently became more and more close, and we've been having a really good time. She went to Disneyland with me back in October, and we are planning a Disney World trip in 2023, which we will talk about very soon. In June, I got to go to Walt Disney World. Got to go. I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah. In June, I was forced to go to Disney World with my friend Jen because it was her 50th birthday. Because look, I would not choose to go to Disney World during June ever. That is just not a thing. That is not something I ever care to do again. It was so incredibly hot, I almost died, but we had such a great time. We really, really did. To travel to Canada. I got to travel to Canada and I got to visit my friend Alex and his fiance Jay. That was part of the trip that got canceled, right? So it was part of the one that we were supposed to go to Disney World, but I was gonna stop in Canada first because I love Canada. I have actually been to every province outside of 2. I think that we figured that out. And I also visited Ontario, which, by the way, Alex, just so you know, we visited Ontario. When I was in Toronto. There's an inside joke. When I was in Toronto, I did not realize that I was not in Quebec. So we were there. I was there on the 4th day we were in Toronto. And Jay, who is Alex's fiance, was like, yeah, Ontario. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we're in Ontario. And I was like, no, what? So, you know, geography wasn't my strong suit. But anyway, I learned that I went to Ontario and to Quebec. Very exciting. 2 provinces I had not been to before. And we also got to see Niagara Falls, which I'd never seen before, which was really exciting. And so we got to see Toronto, Montreal, and Niagara Falls. And we got to go to the Cursed Child, which was amazing. And it was just an all over wonderful trip. We did an impromptu Disneyland trip in October because everything got kind of messed up with Hurricane Ian. So we thought we would do that, which was really exciting. I had the most magical experience with Goofy, getting to walk with him through Disneyland as he entered the parks, and I was dressed exactly like him. And it was such a magical moment. And in fact, other people thought it was magical, even Disney, and they shared it on their TikTok account, which was like so very cool and that was such an honor, which was great. During November, I was able to go to my grandfather's celebration of life. I didn't realize how badly I needed closure, but I needed closure very badly. And that was really the first time that I'd seen my family since the pandemic happened. And so that was really exciting to see my mom and all my extended family. Yeah, after everything that had gone on in the last few years. So although it was very sad event, it was also really good for my soul to be able to see my family again. The Disney girls and I spent a long weekend in Girdwood. We went to the Nordic spa. I have documented that all too for you guys. If you want to see it, it's going to be linked above and down below. It was a very, very fun time. I got to spend a week with my mom, my aunt, my friend Jen, my friends Jackie and Josh, and also my friend Sue in Disney World during December, which was such an epic sort of event. And we had a really, really great time, and we got to enjoy all of the holiday festivities, like the gingerbread crawl that I created, where we got to go and see all the different gingerbread displays in Disney World. And then also we got to go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which was really fun. I had the honor and capability to start working with several new brands this year, which was really cool. Got to work with Knott's Berry Farm, Pink a la Mode, one of my new favorite small shops. I also have a promo code if you guys are interested. I'll link it down below. Got to work with Cakeworthy. I love Cakeworthy. And then also Northern Pacific Airways invited me out to show off their brand new plane that they are going to be starting to run very, very soon, which is very exciting for Alaskans, but it's also very exciting for anyone trying to get to Asia. And then also Bauble Bar, my most favorite Disney jewelry company ever. So I got to work with Bauble Bar, which was so fun. And then I got to continue to work with amazing brands like Fun.com, Bippity, Box Lunch, Very Nako, and Thomas Kincaid, which I am all so very thankful that I was able to create and continue making relationships with these incredible companies through this awesome platform. So thank you to you guys, and thank you to them for continuing to work with me. One of the best things that happened this year is no matter when I traveled or where I went, I seemed to run into a lot of you, and even in Canada. And I just am so incredibly thankful to have been able to meet you. And I want to just say thank you so much to you for supporting me and being through me through this really tough 2022, and obviously a lot of you even from the beginning back in 2017. I just appreciate you so much, and it was such a heartwarming and exciting experience to be able to connect with so many of you in real life and hug you and have conversations. It was just a really, really neat experience. 2022 was so difficult. It was so difficult on so many levels, but it just gave proof that there's always some sort of silver lining, and there's always something to celebrate and something to look forward to. So you'll have to let me know down below what your thing was that was your silver lining for 2022. I would love to know. And that leads us to, what does 2023 really look like? Like, what are we thinking we're gonna do? I'm not gonna say we're gonna do it, okay? What do we think we're going to do? So for me, the next few months, I think I'm gonna be really laying low here in Alaska. I think it'll be really good for me to just nurture myself a little bit. Over the last 3 months, I have traveled every single month, sometimes twice during that month. And then also my husband and I have had opposite schedules basically over the last 10 weeks. So he would be gone and then I would be at home, and then I would leave and he would stay here. And we literally were like two ships passing in the wind. And so it will be really nice to really spend some actual time with him, because I do actually really like him. He's really fun. And I also just want to continue creating good habits and, you know, wake up on time and get to work on time and eat healthy and just be a human that is productive and just a good human. That's my goal for the next few months. I hope I can make that happen. My friend Jackie is coming up, which is super exciting. Jackie will be here in the end of January. So she's gonna be staying with us for a couple of weeks. She does still, so if you guys don't know who Jackie is, Jackie's my best friend. I'll put a picture of her here. You've probably seen her on the channel. She's traveled with us a couple of times to Disney World. Also, she's been featured in several of my videos, and she lives in Massachusetts, but she works in Alaska. And so she comes back and visits every couple of months to actually go physically into her workspace. And so that's what she's doing. So that's why she's here. And then my friend Jen is gonna be visiting during Ferrandi, which Ferrandi is that like big Alaska festival for the Iditarod. And so she will be here for a few days. She had a travel voucher. And so I'm really excited to be able to see her. That's her first time to Alaska. And so we are gonna have like the best extended weekend, and I'm so looking forward to it. We're also gonna be vlogging the Iditarod again. That's been something that we featured on the channel a few times, so be on the lookout for that vlog. Be sure to be subscribed. And then this is a really exciting announcement. We are gonna be going to Spring Dapper Day in Disney World. I'm so excited. Okay, so I've been wanting to go to Dapper Day again. I went back in 2018, but I've been wanting to go again. And I finally figured out a way to do it and when to do it. And so that means that we're gonna be creating 2 Dapper Day looks. And yes, I'm going to be sewing them myself, hopefully, knock on wood. And I have one of them already in mind. And so be on the lookout for some polls and some suggestions, and also DIY videos of creating these Dapper Day outfits that we are going to be working on for the spring. And I am so excited. There is one in particular that like I'm living for. I am absolutely living for, and I cannot wait to share it with you very, very soon. And then during that trip, which by the way is a week-long trip, Happily Ever After should be showing. I am not sure I'm gonna ever not be at Magic Kingdom at night on that week. I'm not sure. And also, by the way, Lindsay will be going with me on that trip. I also would really, really love to go to Disneyland for a long weekend in the springtime or summertime. We will see if that will happen. I don't know. It's just a little bit easier for me to have an impromptu Disneyland trip than it is for me to have an impromptu Disney World trip, right? It's just so much closer in vicinity to where I live. Next, I got this question in a Q&A. You guys sent in some Q&A questions, which by the way, most of them I've answered in this video, just so you know. And so thank you for submitting those questions. You guys submitted them right before everything happened with Telly, and I just didn't have the ability to have a sit down video without me breaking down. So anyway, nor did I do that today. I also broke down today, but that's a different story. But one of the questions was, are you and Alex going to reschedule your trip to Disney World? Yes, we are. And yes, we have. We have already scheduled it. We already have our hotels and we already know when we are going. We are going for 12 days. 12 days, my friends. I'm so excited. So we're going for 12 days. All of the details will be coming out when we know them. We'll probably do like a little trip announcement type of video to talk about what's going on. But when we missed, because of the hurricane, when we missed the Mickey's Not So Scary as well as the Halloween Horror Nights, both of those were actually canceled. They were on the nights that the hurricane was actually there. And so we were able to hold a credit on our account. So we actually don't have to come up with money for those two events, which is kind of nice. So I appreciated that. So we are gonna be hopefully booking those like as soon as they release them, which will probably be May timeframe. And then we'll be able to talk more about that extended trip, which I'm very, very much looking forward to. The next thing is my best friend from back home, Nikki, who is Seriously Introverted here over on YouTube. I will link her channel down below. Her and her mom and I are planning a short Disneyland trip in November. So hopefully all of those things will come to fruition. You'll have to tell me if you are going to, number one, are you going to Dapper Day? And then also if you have any other exciting plans for 2023, because I would love not only to see you guys in the parks, but I really hope that you guys are going to be living it up in 2023. That's my hope for you. That's kind of a synopsis of what my quote unquote plans are for 2023. Talk about channel updates. My intention is still to put up 2 videos per week. That's always been my goal, and that's what I will continue to do. I will obviously notify you guys if that is not the case. If I miss an upload, those sorts of things, I'll definitely let you know what to expect. My Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party vlog is actually going up this week, so be on the lookout for that. So if you're interested in seeing that, be sure to be subscribed down below. Also, Festival of the Arts is coming up very, very soon in Epcot. If you don't know what Festival of the Arts is, it's a big art festival that they put on at Epcot every single year, and it celebrates all things creative, all things music, art, animation, etc. I love Festival of the Arts so much, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go this year, and so I'm gonna be bringing you guys a little bit of Festival of the Arts from my home. So be on the lookout for a short series I'm gonna do over here on the channel celebrating all things Festival of the Arts. Next, obviously we just talked about it, but Dapper Day is happening and I am so excited. So excited about Dapper Day. So that does mean that we're gonna be designing and making outfits here on the channel, and I definitely do want your input on one of them. So you guys will be helping me choose elements of the outfit and also styles and accessories and those sorts of things. So I'm so excited to have you come along with me on that journey and be a part of it and help me choose and make it super magical and super dapper, super dapper. Little Mermaid is my most favorite film of all time, as you can see probably from the Papa T, the daddy. And Ariel right there. We're going to be celebrating the new film that's coming out so very soon in May. I can't wait to see it. I always get so nervous about it because I'm trying to compartmentalize the original with the new, because I really struggle sometimes with compartmentalizing it, but I will say I do love Aladdin the remake. I love Beauty and the Beast the remake, so I'm sure that this should be no different. So I'm looking forward to it, and we're gonna be doing lots of things on the channel to celebrate that. Another thing that I thought was really interesting that I put on my planning board for the channel this year was that you guys really seem to enjoy the makeup review. I did a makeup review for the Ulta Beauty and Disney World collaboration that they did a few months back. And I had a lot of you request for me to continue doing those types of videos. And so I have 3 different makeup collections that I have purchased. And I'm gonna be putting a poll up on the community tab of the channel. So please go over there and vote. But we have the Fantasia collection from One Size, the Small World collection from ColourPop, and the Avatar collection from NYX. And so let me know which one of those you want me to review first, and I will get that on the docket for me to review right away. And Also, I would like to do more weekend and week in the life vlogs. You guys always request those, which I'm so appreciative of. And so my goal is to do like one of those a month. So I would really like to bring a little bit of a personal touch outside of just like Disney merch and Disney celebrations and those sorts of things. Also, DIY videos. I have heard from so many of you that you really miss DIY videos, and I'm so sorry. They're very time consuming, and I really struggled with time management last year, and so DIY videos are also going to be a focus of the channel in the new year. So if you have any video ideas of what you would like to see over here, please let me know down in the comments down below. I definitely want to create videos that you want to watch. That's kind of the whole point of YouTube, right? Also, I'll be focusing on TikTok and also on Instagram, so be sure to be following over on those two social medias as well. I can't wait to bring you all of the fun Dapper Day, DIY, home vlog, Festival of the Arts, all of the fun things in 2023. And I truly hope that this year is magical and amazing for you, and hopefully not super eventful, if you know what I'm saying. We just need to survive at this point. We need to survive. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you like this chit-chatty content, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe down below for all of the fun things, and I will see you in the next video. TTFN, bye!